Hello, my name is Rodolfo,
My name's Anastasia.
My name's Sebastian.
and then we did the NSF 337 term project.
So I was responsible for developing the airline class. Each airline will have a list of flights, and that is the structure at the top that's called flight list. It's going to be a linked list with a flight object and a next pointer. In order, we have an airline default constructor, a custom constructor, a copy constructor, and a destructor. Next, we have our setter functions, which will get the name of the airline, the head of the linked list, and the number. Then we have our three getter functions, which will get the name, the head of the linked list, and the number. Next, we have an insert function that will insert a flight node in the above mentioned structure. And finally, our private data members, we have the airline name, the flight list head, and the number of flights.
Here I have my basic class requirements. My constructors are up here, my basic getter and setter functions, and here are my custom member functions, which are used for the functionality of the main program. And then here are my private data members, which are accessed through the setter and getter functions. My flight ID, which is the ID of the flight, the total number of rows of the flight, and the total number of columns of the flight. And here is the passenger list head, which is the head of the passenger list structure. And then my seat map of the flight.
I was responsible for the passenger class and the seat class. Here I'm going to explain the passenger class first, my passenger header file. Here I have my constructors, my getters, and my setters. They're self-explanatory. They help me access the data members. And then my private data members here for the passenger object is the first name, last name, their phone number, their passenger ID, and a seat pointer. Now this pointer points to a seat object that has the information regarding the seat that they have on the flight. Okay, here I have my seat class, and then here I have my basic constructors, my normal getters and setters, and then my private data members, and all the seat class has is the row and column, and then this represents where the passenger sits on the flight, on the seat map. Now I just want to give a quick rundown as to how this video is going to progress and just the general structure of the memory allocation that we did in this program. We structured our program around linked lists. This means that basically everything except the airline object itself is going to be on the heap. Since the airline class has a linked list type structure, the structure nodes themselves for the classes that use them have a object of their next down hierarchy class. So what does this mean? This means that for the airline class, we have a list of flights or flight nodes, but the flight nodes themselves have a flight object inside of them. So that means the flight object is going to be on the heap as well. And the flight objects themselves have a passenger linked list, but the passenger nodes, so the passenger list nodes, have the passenger objects themselves. That also means they're going to be on the heap. And subsequently, the passenger object has a pointer to their seat. So everything is on the heap except for the main airline object that we have here. Okay now, so what we're going to do now is we're going to compile the program just to show you that it does, and then we're going to run through the program and each of its functionalities and then explaining how it works throughout as we go. And then here just on the README file we have our information, just our names, and then the compile command that we're going to use. This also works on Cygwin. Here we're using VS Code and then a separate compiler for C++. And then just to clarify, we're using the example flightinfo.txt given in class, and then we're assuming that any other file that you guys, your professor or whoever's testing the program, is using this same format. Okay, then we're just gonna compile the program here. Here to compile the program, we're just gonna do the command that I showed earlier, just this one. It also works on Cygwin. Here it compiled without any issues, no errors, and then it created our main.exe file here. And then here to run it on VS Code is we just type in the name of the file. In Cygwin it's a different command, but here we're running it on VS Code in a separate compiler. And then here at the beginning of the program, before anything gets printed on the terminal, we first extract all the information given in their txt file, creating the flight, the airline, and then everything else. After that's created, then we start with the main functionality of the program, just to clarify. Press return to continue, one of the requirements. Here we go. Let's just say first thing we want to do is we're going to display the seat map. This is from the extracted information, and then the X's represent unavailable seats, blank spaces are available seats. Now we want to display all the passenger information. Here at the very top we have the flight information, given the passenger ID, first and last names, phone number, and then row and column that they have. And then it just goes in through. And so the way this prints is that on the flight object we go through the linked list of passengers, the passenger list nodes, the structure that we explained earlier, and then it just extracts the information, prints it on the screen, and then it goes to the next node for the passenger list. Now let's say I want to add a new passenger. I'm going to add myself. I'm just going to give my name, my last name, and then a gibberish phone number. It's wrong. You need to give it proper syntax so it lines up with everything else on the txt file. Now the proper syntax for the phone numbers is 3 digits, 3 digits, 4 digits. And then I select a seat. Let's say I want to select a seat that's unavailable. I want to take 5B. So I'm just going to input that. I want seat 5, column B. It asks me for input again because I cannot take the seat of someone who is already assigned it. So the seat is unavailable on the seat map. Now, how we check for this is that we just run through the matrix of integers that we have that represents our seat map. Now, when we first run through all the passengers, it takes their seat and then changes the value from 1 to 0 on the seat map to change its availability, 1 being available, 0 not. Now I want to select seat 1A, which is currently available. 1A. Closed. I want to show the seat map one more time. See here, the seat that I wanted is available. And then if I want to show my passenger information, I'm going to be inserted to the top of the list. So here I have my new assigned ID, my name, phone number, and everything else. Now notice how the passenger ID was not asked for. This is because the program just automatically runs through the linked list, checks all the IDs, and then it assigns an ID that's not already on the linked list. So that's automatic. Now let's say I want to remove a passenger. I don't like Bill, so I'm just going to remove him from the flight because I'm mean. So his ID is 10,000. And now, earlier, Bill, on the seat map, he had 6A, this seat right here. Now if I show the seat map one more time, here we see 1A is gone. And then if I display the passenger information again, Bill was at the bottom, and he is now gone. Now if we check this list, there are Bill Harris, or Bill William, this is some other Bill, is not on the passenger list. Now, before we save, I'm just going to delete a couple more passengers just to show that there's a big change. I'm going to remove this person, ID 10,010. And then I also want to remove just one more person, ID 10,002. Now if I look at the seat map again, there is less seats, and they correlate to the seats that those passengers were assigned to. And then passenger list one more time, and then we have less passengers. Now the save function, all this function does is wipes the txt file and then rewrites everything. And then that's how you save the information onto the txt file. And now it's asking me if I want to continue to save or not. I'm going to say yes, save. Now, just to show you that it's saved correctly, I'm going to show you the txt file here. And then it is a shorter list. I have myself in it, where I inserted myself, and then we erased all the other passengers that were not on the that we erased. Okay, and then just to finish off the program, here we click 6 to exit. Program terminated. Thank you very much.